In this video, I'm going to take a very brief look at photo gallery management in WordPress and the plugins that you can use for it. I say brief because it's a huge subject and there's really only a little bit we can say in here. What I've done is I've broken up these plugins into categories just to give you a sense of what they can all do and why you need to really research which one is right for your client. The first group I'm calling internal gallery managers. That's because they in effect are side by side with the WordPress media library and internal gallery system that it has. This is another kind. So you upload images into this plugin, you manage everything through this plugin, you really don't do anything with WordPress. Now the granddaddy of them all in this category and of all of these gallery programs is Next Gen Gallery. Downloaded millions of times, very, very popular, but it is a giant program. There's a lot to learn, and we'll see. I'm going to show you some of that in a bit. So it's definitely a very powerful one, but one you want to think about carefully. Now there are simpler versions of internal gallery managers, like WP Photo Album, not nearly as complicated and maybe easier for your client to use, so watch for those. Then there are ones I call external gallery managers. Here we're managing third-party sharing sites like Flickr, Facebook and Picasa, the gallery software you may have used on other sites. That's a very famous program. There's even a plugin that allows you to bring in from another site, from another gallery installation, all the photos. So there's a lot of options there for off-site management of photos and so forth. Then there's a group I call pop-up slideshows. These are the ones that kind of gray out your browser background and bring up your image. And most of these actually use your WordPress photos and your WordPress galleries. In other words, you don't have to upload into a separate area. It just uses what's already there in WordPress. And one of the best I find is this one, Jquery Lightbox for native galleries. I'll show you that in a moment, but there are many, many of these, and they all mostly use Jquery. Some use MooTools and other JavaScript libraries, but it depends on which library you like to use, which, Shadowbox, Thickbox, Lightbox, there's all these different ones. You get to choose. There's literally dozens and dozens of these plugins that all work quite well in WordPress. And finally, there's Slideshow image rotators. These ones actually are in the page of your website, and they function sometimes like WP Cycle. You upload photos specially to WP Cycle. Others, like Featured Content Gallery, they're using the images you've already uploaded into WordPress, especially the featured image element in WordPress. So there are a lot of choices for these Slideshow image rotators as well. So that gives you an overview of all the different options there are for WordPress plugins. Let's go take a look at this one right now, the Jquery Lightbox. It takes an existing gallery like this one that's been done in WordPress and makes it look nicer. So right now, if I click on this, I just get a bigger image. This will either be by itself like it was there or potentially as a page, depending how you've set up WordPress. But it's still just the image and there's nowhere to go. You have to back button to come back to here and all of that. Not very user-friendly. All right, let's go and install, or pardon me, activate, because we've already installed Jquery Lightbox. We're activating it now. And it will act on this gallery. Watch how this works. Suddenly, you've got one of these nice looking pop-ups. Very, very easy to use. And the thing I love about this is you train your client in WordPress. They don't have to learn anything new. They just keep adding images into galleries the way they were, upload them to WordPress, and then they get this nice effect. The other thing I love about it is if I don't like this one or I change my mind later, I just unplug it, plug in another one, and it changes the look of that pop-up. So you've got more options that way. Now let's look at the one right below, Next Gen Gallery. Here it is over here. Now you can see right off the bat, look at all these admin screens. This is a big, big program. I'll show you the options page here. Look at all the different options you can have. These are all the tabs for different options. It's a very, very powerful and complex program. And for some clients, that's not going to work so well because they get overwhelmed by it. They even get overwhelmed just by the notion of what's a gallery versus an album. How do I manipulate them? How do I use them? This is totally separate from WordPress. So if I go to Manage Galleries, I've got one in here right now. This is totally outside the media library. And I go in here, I can do all sorts of things to these, very, very powerful sets of actions. Look at this, I can do these bulk actions, create watermarks, set thumbnails, resize, move them around between galleries, copy to different galleries. It's all right here, but all done through NextGen Gallery. And again, one of the things with this to consider is if you do all of this, you can't remove NextGen Gallery, right? You've got to keep using it because your client now has all this functionality based on NextGen Gallery. Here's how it works in the posts and pages. It adds a button to the button bar, which when we click on it, does this pop-up. And I say, I'm going to insert the gallery, and I do that. Whoops, I didn't choose a gallery, did I? So hang on a second here. I pop this up. I have to choose it from my drop-down menu. Right now there's only one. I insert it, puts in this short code. I update my post. And now I've got the NextGen Gallery in there as well. So it's as easy as that. Very simple to use from that standpoint. It's more the managing in the background that can be a bit much for clients. So lots and lots of options for you to offer to clients. You might even use several different plugins together. But this gives you a way to make your images much, much more interesting and useful on the site.